Hey YouTube. Well, gonna talk about Queen Sugar. Queen Sugar, Season 3, Episode 3. Alright, this thing opens up with okay, so Nova's talking to New York, right? These New York publishers she made a deal with. Well, the deal has changed slightly now because Nova has left her job. The woman on the other end, calling from New York, she says that she wished she'd have gave them more notice, so they could have worked out a deal with the paper. But as for now, those articles, all the ones that they wanted to do the book with, all those articles belong to the newspaper. Now, if I was Nova, I'd be trying to figure out a way to work some kind of arrangement with the paper. She's not leaving on horrible terms with them. But for the moment, Nova's got to start her whole thing over. In other words, she still wants to do the book. They're still interested in the book. But they're telling her, take some time, figure out what you want to do, and then give me a call. So she's going to have to start from scratch for this new book. I don't know if it has to stay in the form of articles or she's just going to write a book now. But things have changed significantly because they were depending on all of her old essays to be the book. Right? All right. So Ralph Angel's got a second job. He works with fishermen. So he's not out on the boats, but he works, I guess, doing something down there at where they bring the fish in. It's his second job, just like his father. His father had a working farm, full-time working on a farm, plus a job. And that's what Ralph has to do now. So at the same time, he's committed to hiring people to work on the farm. He's working somewhere else himself in order to subsidize, I guess, whatever he's going to pay them, however that works. Anyway, we'll get back to that because Ralph is considering hiring his parolee as a favor to his parole officer. Okay, next thing we see is Hollywood gives Vi this ring. Now, Vi is opposed to him spending any money. She doesn't like shopping and she doesn't like fancy things and this kind of thing. She doesn't want him to blow his money, right? But he said, well, I did buy you some. So it's a real ring. I had to struggle to try to find the diamonds, but I have on good authority that is actually it's a symbol with it's diamond encrusted. But I was really looking for those stones. I couldn't see them. Is a wedding ring? Is that when you get a stone? That's the wedding ring, right? So maybe this is not the. So what's the engagement ring? No, the wedding ring would be the band, and so the engagement ring should be the big one, right? Well, I don't see anything big about that ring, but she seemed to love it. So she loves it. I love it. And he tells her that they have to go to his high school reunion. Now, they don't look like there's a huge, wide gap between their ages, but apparently there is. So I guess Hollywood must be a little older for his age. Hollywood seems to be about 30. She seems to be well into her 40s. Maybe 50. Yes, I guess that is a pretty significant change. Anyway, she's going to accompany him to his, is it high school graduation? Yeah. Ralph Angel seeing another woman. Now, we saw the woman he went to for sexual favors in the first episode of this new season. She has not shown back up again, so I guess she served her purpose. There was never any great purpose for her in his life, but he did it with her. But now he's seeing another woman. This woman is significantly more important, more serious than that first one was. There's another light-skinned girl. She didn't look like Darla. Maybe a little bit more mature. Anyway, she's an attractive woman. So apparently he's been seeing her. They didn't treat us to when he met her or anything. So I guess it's somebody he already knew. Anyway, so she comes over, and he brings this one in the house. which is significant for Ralph Angel. They had do the whoopie whoop overnight, and apparently Blue had gotten up in the middle of the night or early in the morning and found this woman in the living room getting dressed. So maybe they have a one-bedroom house there, and Blue sleeps in the bedroom and Ralph sleeps in the living room. Seems like. Anyway, the kid walks in on her getting dressed. Yeah, we'll get back to that. Michael starts public school. Michael's girlfriend, a pretty little Kiki. Kiki goes to the same school, and she says, "Oh, I finally get my man up in the same school, and we not have none of the same classes." He shows her his class schedule, and it's got no classes with her. So Kiki says, "Why don't you get some of your classes changed so we have the same classes?" He said, "He'll check on it," but his mama's making out that she's very serious about his education, right? So I don't know how well it's gonna work out for Miss Kiki, but he says he'll work on it. See, what his mother is afraid of him getting there and getting distracted, because he's already attracted to this crowd who wants to protest, who he's infatuated with, seems like, or he's liking from afar. And also, when Kiki walks up on a lunch break, right, and he's sitting with them, Kiki gives us an eye, and that crowd an eye, to let us know that she's not totally trusting of this crowd, this group of kids. They're just, high school kids, but they seem to have a little bit of a militant edge to them, and they really want to start some stuff there. That's kind of their mission. So I don't think Kiki is all that down with him or seeing them as being. Now that's weird. My shirt is green, but on here is blue. I'll be damned. Learn something new every day. Anyway, so she doesn't say like she trusts them. She knows them. They know her by name. They all go to school together. But I don't know if she wants him hanging out with them. Right. Next thing we see is this young guy. Looks a little younger than Ralph. He comes to Ralph Angel's farm, and he is late. And Ralph said he's dressed like he's going to the club, although it's a bit of an exaggeration. Ralph Angel, he seems to be very hesitant about hiring a parolee on the farm. He doesn't want to bring that life into his farm life. It's the impression I get. But he tells the kid to shows him the farm, kind of asks him a few questions. The guy said, he never worked on a farm. He worked on some other kind of, I forgot what it was, but he worked with engines and stuff. As it turns out, the kid was actually a car thief too. So he gives Ralph some advice about his tractor. Kind of catches his interest. There's a second scene with them where Ralph does actually hire this kid. Right. So that's later on in the show, but he hires him. He didn't make a promise to the parole agent or anything, but he's just trying to stay open-minded about giving somebody a chance, because he does have to man this farm for the harvest. Okay, so next thing we see is there's this couple. Now I'm suspecting this has something to do with Sam Laundrie. There's this couple. They come to Charley, tell them they won't be milling with them this year. They need to break the contract because they have to leave. Right? Charley seems pretty devastated by this. Can it be worked out, kind of thing? And they're saying no, it's a family issue. And then she said, well, who's going to take over the farm? And she said, oh, well, the land is owned by Laundries. They were just leasing it, which is, from what I understand, is pretty much the deal they have with almost all of the black farmers. Most of them are renting their land from Laundry. Charleston's farm was somewhat unique because it was a pretty sizable farm. I mean, Ralph's farm. And they own the land, which is unusual. And so they tell Charley that Landry owns the land. So I'm thinking, did Landry force him off of this land? What's he up to? See, Charley's got her plan, right? How she's going to take over the company. She's going to leverage her 1%. She basically sold the company for 1% of the big company. But she's got some kind of way to leverage that into some position where she can take over the company, right? But just like she has a plan, I'm sure Landry has a plan as well. Now, Charley made reference to that she wants to buy out. I don't know how it's going to work. She has a plan. All the people who own stock in this company, she wants to eventually acquire their stock. This is how she's going to do a household takeover. I'm guessing. Okay. Okay. So next thing happened. Nova, her old self. Now Charley owns this Queen Sugar. It is not a family business. They have no stock in it. This is all Charley's company. She's the one that created Queen Sugar Company, the mill. She bought it with her own money. Ralph and Nova are talking, and then some people come into the High Yellow and compliment Charley through Ralph. You know, but they're talking to Ralph. They tell Charley, "Thank you. Those 5-year contracts are really great," and so forth. Nova overhears this and wants to know how is she able to guarantee them this deals or whatever. And Ralph lets it slip, or can't avoid it slipping, that Charley has sold the company to Sam Landry. So she didn't know this, and apparently nobody knew it. Remy knew it, and Ralph knew it, and Ralph was down with it completely. Remy is opposed to it, of course. Remy's always opposed to everything. But Charley doesn't have any allies in this plan of hers. Now, even though they don't own any part of the mill, and it's her company, it does seem like she would have consulted with the family before she made such a move. She chose not to do that for her own reasons. Okay? So Nova is pissed off. She's very obvious that she is not pleased by what she hears. And we'll get back to that in a second. Micah. I already talked about that. Okay. Next thing is Nova takes her anger and she confronts Charley in front of everybody, the entire family, including Micah, who's standing in the doorway listening. You sold us out. You sold the company out. You're lying to the farmers. What? And I don't get this piece, because the farmers have been milling with Landry for ages. Landry owns all their land. If she can guarantee them a certain deal on the land, I mean on their crop, which is something that pleases them, as long as they're getting what they want, what difference does it make to them? They've always been caning with the Landrys, or milling with them, or however the language goes. Anyway, so Nova is pissed off about it when she exposes it to everybody, and then Vi gets pissed off about it, and Hollywood doesn't agree with it. So everybody turns on Charley, and Charley's trying to tell her little plan, but her plan sounds so small because there's this roar of angst against her. Behind them, her doing business with the Landrys. Charley seems convinced that she knows a way to do this. But it is her land. It is her company. It got nothing to do with the farm. She's an intelligent woman, and she is a businesswoman. Apparently, she's run businesses before. These other people don't know a goddamn thing about it. All they've been doing is just farming and milling with the Landrys for decades. So they all think they know better than Charley. But for the moment, she's all by herself, with the exception of Ralph. So Charley storms out. She tells Micah to come on, let's go. And Micah stands there. He will not go with his mother. So he's siding with his family against his mother. Don't know a damn thing about it. Anyway, and so Charley storms out. Ralph follows behind her to encourage her. Ralph seems pretty confident that Charley is capable of pulling off what she wants to pull off. Okay. Next thing happened, Ralph meets the boss's daughter. Okay, so this fish company, it's run by a family, which is common with Asian people. They have big families, run their businesses. So they all like Ralph, right? Well, this beautiful young Americanized girl who's been away at school apparently is home now. So Ralph meets the boss's daughter. I think the thing is run by the woman because we don't see the father. We see a son and the mother, his mother, and we see now this other daughter who's been away. There seems to be a little bit, I don't know if it's just in my mind or just because they're both attractive young people, some little bit of energy there between Ralph and this daughter. Right. She's a very attractive woman. Okay. So we don't know that because Ralph just started seeing this other woman. Plus he already hit the village thought. So we don't know. Is Ralph looking for a woman, a wife, or I don't know. But for some reason, they're taking time to show us this energy between those two, the boss's daughter and Ralph. Right? Hollywood and Vi, they go to his class reunion, right? It's hard to tell by these people. You see, black don't crack, so I can't tell how old people are in these things. But I guess this is his high school reunion. Hollywood's high school reunion, which he must have went to school there with the Bartaloons. Anyway, so they go to this thing. We all know Vi's a little older than Hollywood, right? So there's this woman, this sassy little woman there that apparently Hollywood dated in high school. She goes there and she's all over Hollywood, right? And she turns to Vi. She says, "Oh, I remember you. I remember you. You're Hollywood's mother, right?" So, of course, everybody's embarrassed. And this bitch knows that this young lady, this woman knows that that is not his mother. If you would have met her, you would have known what she looked like, right? This woman, there's probably 10 years difference between those two. She tries to insult Vi. Hollywood says, "No, this is my fiance." And when the thing asks Hollywood, "Let's go dance, you still got your moves?" She says, "No, I'll be dancing with my fiance, my one and only dance partner." Oh. Vi is, she don't go off on the woman or anything. She don't even let her know that she was annoyed. But she's a little exhausted. The camera shows us that she's a little exhausted. She's got this lupus thing, right? So she walks out to get some air. Hollywood finds her there. I guess he can identify that she's a little tired or over this whole high school reunion thing. And so he said, "Why don't we just go on home?" Okay. Blue's been wetting the bed. I'm not a psychologist. Child psychologist. I don't know what that's all about. But apparently Blue has been wetting the bed. Hollywood's in her sleep. He hears a drawer fall out of the cabinet. Talks to, Ralph Angel runs in there asking, "What are you doing up?" And then he figures out himself that you wet the bed again, right? You had an accident. He said, "Yes, and I had one yesterday, but you had a woman in there," kind of thing. So he comforts his son. Their relationship is pretty cool, actually. Ralph Angel and Blue, even though Blue kind of flares up with being a kid sometimes, he got a good relationship. Uh, so we're already seeing what we've seen so far, that Micah might be getting in over his head with this new crowd. His mother has allowed him to go to public school because he insisted of going to public school. He wants to identify with his own race for a change, because basically he's been raised in private schools. He's only been to private schools. He was fed up of being the only minority. And so his mother said, okay, you can go. But she's warning him, if there's any trouble, and it looks like this crowd that he's infatuated with is trouble. Now they already took the knee and things like that, but they seem to be trying to figure out what we're going to do next. So they're just looking for something to get into, right? So I can pick up in the body language of Kiki that this is not the right crowd for him. I imagine we're going to get a taste of that very, very soon. Okay. So Micah says something to Nova. Micah, he's not being real brattish, but he is kind of frustrated with his mother. Why can't she be more like you? Nova saying, no, don't do that. Your mother has done great things. She's very capable. Even though we don't agree with methods, we still want the same thing, kind of thing. And Micah inspires Nova without knowing it about this new writing project she has to do. She said, well, you can write, you can do anything you want, right? You can write about the plight of the farmers. You can make a difference. You can make a change. And so immediately after that, she starts putting she had taken all her boards down at the office. Now she's putting all her boards back up, her idea boards, and it's all got to do with the farmers and the borderline history of the family. So she's inspired. Last thing we see is Ralph hires the parolee. Okay, people. That was episode 3. I love this show. You know that. And I'll see you next week.